Happy Wednesday. Welcome back to the Wolff Den presented by Win Again Academy. I'm Matt Wolff, founder and CEO of Ticket Time Machine. Today we got Richard and Dan from iSponsor. Welcome to the show. How's everything going?
Thanks, Matt. Going well.
Good. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, excited to have this conversation. Met you guys at Mark Moyer's event, and we were just talking about another event tonight. So check it out, Win Again Academy. For those who don't know who you guys are or what iSponsor is, just give a real quick summary, and then let's get into it.
Oh, Dan, I'll let you take that one for the local audience, mate.
All right, fine. I guess in this case, I'm starting before the person that kicked it all off. So we'll hear that part soon. But my name's Dan McKegney. I've worked in philanthropy and sports, some education and tech mixed in throughout my career. I'm now the market director of iSponsor. We're connecting charities with a cool, unique fundraising tool with shopping brands, thousands of them that do different CSR initiatives. And yeah, we're filling a big void in the US right now to make fundraising easier. So I'll pass it over to Richard because he's the one that sparked the first wires together to get this going.
Thanks, mate. Yeah. In short, a shopping platform and a business gives money back to a charity or a cause of your choice. We do online as well as in store. So we're categorically a fintech because we play on the card rails. But yeah, trying to keep the money out of the individuals, keep the money in the individual's pocket, and getting some from the businesses to the people that need it the most, mate. Australian and started in Australia 2 years ago on Sunday, and going strong in Australia. And yeah, we decided to come over into your big market over there in the US and try and make some difference over there in the UK.
He's a founder that's gone all in because he aligned some inflection points of this business with his own birthday. So happy early birthday. 2 days away. Richard doesn't need a birthday on the weekend, but in this case, it happens to be on the weekend.
Weekend here, not a weekend there, not here, or part of it.
Right.
Yeah, part of it with the long. So appreciate you having here. It's a big difference in the time zone here, so that's why we're later tonight, but very happy to accommodate and have you here. Scrolling down, we have information. We got the website, we got Instagram and LinkedIn. It's iSponsor app. So talk about the app and the program and the vision.
Oh, the vision's to be a global force that's makes a lot of impacts, mate, and changes lives. I myself grew up fairly poor sport, and as we all know, sport can change someone's life. You don't have to be good at sport for it to change your life. It just teaches some pretty important life lessons, teaches you how to get up, how to be a good winner, how to be a good loser, all the fundamentals that helps us in life. And, I think there's a lot of kids out there that don't get the opportunity, and the original platform started to support kids, getting kids into trying to lower the cost of sport and whatnot. And now we've extended into foundations, charities, schools, and anything that needs to raise capital and needs to raise money, mate. Even businesses can do it for their corporate social responsibility and choose a charity every month. So the overarching goal, mate, is to be the biggest in the world and save heaps of lives and, make heaps of people happy and create some impact. And fortunate enough that we're making some headway in 3 countries and starting to do it, getting to meet cool cats like yourself, Matt. I'll tell you what, the countdown to the Wolff Den was got me pumped, hey. I was, oh man, we're on here, we're good,
I like it. I did a show yesterday, and she had a really cool count. It was a countdown, but it had a different feel to it. And I don't know, I might change it up or make it do a little bit of tweak. But I do love the intro.
Oh mate, it got my heart racing. I was like, oh man, what's going on here? Hey, it's and people's voices change when you come on a podcast. They're like, hey man, how you going? And then the podcast starts. They put their radio voice on. You're like, oh. I don't have a radio voice yet, Matt. So
I got my friend knows he might be listening. I don't know. He's usually on when it's 1 because he's bored and doesn't want to work. But my voice is like this. But I do get, I'll get excited for things depending on, I'm passionate about things. Ticket Time Machine's one of them. Sports, entertainment, helping all that stuff. So you can tell when someone is excited about something and fired up, even though they don't automatically always have that rah voice where you get like all crazy about it. So it's like, this is my happy, this is my excited, this is like, oh, I'm the same.
Yeah.
The app though, so I mentioned that because it's I sponsor app is really the handles that you have. So the initial thought was this is going to be an app.
Yeah. So we like any entrepreneur, mate, they think their first idea is going to be a incredibly scalable idea and change the world. But so originally it was just an app, and turns out app downloads are a lot harder to get, even when you're helping people. And the product's obviously evolved since then. You know, we do white labels and things like that. But yeah, it was just meant to be an app that people opened up and shopped through and used instead of, you know, I won't say the other names of the big guys in case they cut me off. But you know, just an app that people use to shop through, mate, and to make money for people. And also the other domains and handles that we wanted were taken.
These days I get all the time I forget what they call it. It's these extensions on my browser that say like I downloaded one for Capital One or something. Every time I'm on a site, it's like, do you want to save money? Or we see this, and it brings you money. The idea, there's a lot of other ones out there that bring you some money, right? You get some, it's like immediate cash back. But the idea of this is say, hey, if you shop here, we're going to take some of that money. We're going to put it right to the charity.
Yeah.
The idea for that is people got to want to rather give that to charity than find something that is going to put it in their own pocket.
Yeah, definitely. We have actually haven't launched our browser extension yet, but it's something that we need to do. But I guess the thing is, mate, when you look at anything on scale, you know, if you're buying a pair of shoes, is that $6 that you're going to get back for that pair of shoes really that important to you? And if it is, by all means, go and do it. But you know, if that $6 isn't that important to you over 20% of your population, imagine, you know, what sort of impact that would make to your country overall. I don't even know what that number is, mate. But you know, if you know, even if 100,000 people did that every week, it's a lot of money going into good causes to help people. And instead of someone thinking about that $6 and what it means to them, thinking about what that $6 means to somebody else, and you know, at scale, is probably the thought process we want going on.
Yeah, I talk about this all the time. I had the Desire Cup with the Danny Werfel Foundation and Desire Street Ministries. They have a big event today. They have a pickle bowl and then golf. And we were talking about like all these athletes that they know have all these millions of money. I love to spend other people's money to be like, hey, you know, like why doesn't Elon Musk put all this money that he's going to put into Twitter to put and try and not solve, but help homeless people and, you know, all this other, I mean, there's so many, whatever that cause is, there's just so many people that just have all this money. We have an election coming up here in the US. How much money is wasted on elections it's sickening. So it's like, let's try and get the money and use it for good. There's so much out there that can be used. And look, we're never going to get them to like change the direction of it, but now we can find this other way. And this is a unique way to get money, you know, for good causes, because people are shopping anyway.
Yeah, well, it doesn't cost you anything extra. It's and it's not some convoluted discount. And with the in-store stuff, mate, if you register, like a lot of our businesses, all you got to do is register your bank card. So whatever card's in your wallet, all you could do is register your card and go on your normal life. You wouldn't even know you're helping someone, you know, and you'll eventually shop at a business that is giving money back to charity, you know, just by using your normal bank card. I think that's kind of a cool thing as well. So trying to make it as thoughtless as as thoughtless and labelless as possible.
Yeah. So I don't even know the names of them, but there's a ton of them out there where you're getting money back and you can save. I don't really use. I think one time I did, and then they sent me a check, like, you know, a month later, and it was, I don't know, maybe it was like $3.18, and I'm like, I'm not signing up for this stuff. So I think something like that, where it's going to charity. You don't have to worry about, coming back to you, or I got to deposit this. It just go on your way. I think people, I would be more inclined to use that than some of that other stuff. And I've been told them over the years, and I just don't put them on. But if you're saying, hey, help this out, we're going to help out the charities. Talk a little bit about who the charities are. How do you determine the charity? Obviously, you got to have an agreement, but what do you seek? Who do you have? And then also the shopping as well. Same type of questions.
Yeah. So in Australia, we started off with sporting clubs. So, any grassroots sporting clubs, we don't try to do the professional stuff because, they've got paid staff to find their money. So we really try to stick to our grassroots, the people that need the money, the people that need to pay for the lights to turn on, to train at night time, to play on a Sunday. The ones that are still cooking sausage sizzle. So that's where we started, mate, because it's also our background. Like, I've been a volunteer, a player, and a sponsor. So we started there, and we just bashed the phones, mate. Just rang heaps of people, got them all signed up, and then they started to make some money. So we thought it was and we should keep going. And then we decided we'd start to experiment with charities. My personality is not really suited for charities, mate. I'm a little bit intense sometimes, so I can be a bit disarming for people that work in the charity sector. But we alleviated that with bringing on charity staff and started to work with charities. And then in the US, the foundations are a whole different kettle of fish. Does that make sense? Do you guys know that saying? A whole different kettle of fish? Yeah. No. It's a whole new ball game.
Yeah, well, that figured that.
Why
kettle of fish?
I have no idea what kettle of fish means, mate. It's just a saying we've been using for years. So the foundations is a whole new ball game. So we don't really have that same. Not all our professional athletes have foundations. So Dan sort of opened our eyes up to that as well. And we have foundations.
In the States, we're built to work with any youth sports organization, any grassroots charity, but then we're very versatile as well. It can be college sports. It can be built for fundraising groups. It can be built for community organizations that have nothing to do with sports. All the other verticals that are social impact and charitable, as long as they're a registered charity, we can get them up and running in a day or two. And our team doesn't just stop there. We're hand-holding. We're making sure that there's assets that they have to use and some strategy, some coaching as well. I've done this fundraising stuff for a decade in my career. It's not easy. When you have a good year, it's hard to keep that number up and the projections met year after year. And so, again, we're not just some tech tool and here's the keys, good luck. We're a different type of more capacity building partner. That's one way I describe who we are and who we're looking for on the charity side. Brands are brands that are looking for new customers and a new revenue channel. They get the icing on the cake of getting credit for a CSR initiative. They, through their customers and their shoppers, they're giving back to charities. They're discounting in a way their items, and that's what's kind of trickling down to the community. But in our cases, we really make sure it adds up much faster than some of the other people who have tried to do this before. So wrapping kind of the brand side and the charity side into one long answer for you, Matt.
Why would a charity not want to get involved?
Well, Richard, have you encountered that by the end of the meeting yet? It's hard to say.
The funny thing is, we actually have had a few no's. I don't. It generally comes down to and there's no harm against them, but it's usually the person that runs the fundraising is used to one vertical or two verticals. They're not used to a new vertical. And I think with anything, some people get a bit wary of it. And if they've never done something like this before, they might get concerned that it's going to take away from something else. But our biggest thing is we don't want to compete with your other fundraising avenues. We want to complement them. We just want to be that little bit extra per person per month and things like that. But mate, some, people each to their own, and some people, older generations get a bit funny with apps anyway, mate. Anything that, when you say app, especially over here in Oz, I look at how many apps Dan's got on his phone. He's got like 100. I've got like 7, and 3 of them are
I was just thinking I got to get rid of some of these that I don't use. Or start to use them. I don't know, but there's way more apps. I probably use the same 8, maybe 10. And those are, Facebook and Twitter and TikTok, and just but more for work. But I do have a lot
with the iSponsor, mate, isn't it?
What's that?
It's going to be 11 now with iSponsor, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not a phone guy. I love to be sitting in front of my computer, and I have a Mac now, so at my desk doing, and that's what I like to do. I don't really like laptops even, or iPads. I have all of them, but I always will defer to sitting in front of my computer as opposed to going on my phone. So I understand that, but on the other hand, there are apps that you or programs or tools or whatever have you that you have to go. Like I have Instagram. I can look at Instagram here, but I cannot post Instagram on my computer sitting here. I have to go on my phone. And there's certain things like on LinkedIn, I can't upload certain things in the comments. So if people are using it, and it's just it is a matter of getting used to it. And then, but sometimes, like you said, it just sits there and you don't know. It just sits there and let it do its thing. Those are the best apps, right? Where they're just kind of working behind the scenes and they're integrated with the other stuff that you do.
Oh, that's the other thing, mate, is we give organizations the opportunity for us to just build their software on their website. So, you click onto your college website and it says shop now or give shop or whatever. They push the button, they're in our environment, but it's branded with them. So, it gives them the opportunity to promote their website, get their traffic to there instead of us. Like, we don't care. We don't care if we're the first, we don't care if we're the first brand, second brand, or whatever we are, or just right in the background. We just care if people are using us to raise money to do good things.
So how does it work on the store side? Because that's a little bit different, obviously, than the charity, and harder to obtain.
Yeah, they just they make the stores love it. Like brands like it. We get more yeses from we get less no's from brands than we do from charities, believe it or not. And they just got to fill out an application form, jump on, then they're on. It can take 3 days, it can take 4 weeks, depending on the process we have to go through with them. But it's pretty simple. Cost them nothing unless they make sales too, mate. Like it's
Right, but there's money off of the sale. So a $20 T-shirt, they get $20, but if it's on yours, they get there's less. Whatever percentage will go to that charity.
Yeah, so $20 will go. Well, yeah, $20 goes to them, and then they give $2 to the charity type deal.
Yeah, is that standard? Can people do less, do more? Because you have different. Like some people have, 20% on someone who sells a lot of dollar stuff. Yeah.
So we've seen 50% on donuts, and we've seen like 1%, but it's on TVs and things that you're not spending less than $1,500 on. In Australia, we're still got to get it sorted, but one of the hotel providers in Australia gives 5%, and the average spend on that's like $2,000. So that's it's pretty cool when you see holiday season coming in and all these bang, 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 bang from the holiday provider and all this money coming in and going out.
Yeah. Coming and going.
Yeah, that's the one thing.
Again, at the end of the day, you have to have a brand, a store, organization that wants to find a way to give money to charity. This is an easy one where it's not, and look, they could always mark up their stuff. It's like any kind of sale, put an extra $2 in to give to the, to charity.
They can't with us, mate. So our whole model is it doesn't come from the consumer. So whatever you pay through us, you pay through them. So it does not cost you any extra. So it's
I just mean they can raise their price. People raise their price if they want to give stuff. That's beforehand, not like Yeah, no, I wasn't trying to say it was going else. Like,
You're right, Matt, that there's most companies, many companies, there's a lot of pressure for them to do these types of things. And there's a big incentive as well for them to engage their customers, their repeat customers and stuff like this. And yeah, I think that's what we're kind of making sure is simple and easy. But what's different about us than going to the grocery store and you get the chance to round up? You only have one or two charity options to do so. You may have a tie to those causes, maybe not. And then tons of other examples at the mall or shopping elsewhere. You can help that business with their favorite charity. It's hard. It's almost impossible to get your favorite in there. That's what we solve. There's full autonomy. You can shop where you want, and you can choose your favorite charity to make sure the cash forward, not cash back, the cash forward goes to. And like you were saying, we're on all different mediums. So whatever the personality type is, if they like to do it on their mobile, they like to use our web app, or the cards are logged in their phone and they walk to the store or pay for their dining, that's what we do. And like Richard keeps saying, that's the place we're getting to, is once our users' cards are added in a much bigger volume, they're going to end up going to the dining locations and Home Depot and the other stores they already go to and swipe their card, not even realizing they're on the app, not even realizing they're sending money back. So like Richard just said, 5%, 10%, that's what's going to the charity. No upcharge to customers. It's the same amount they're going to pay at the checkout.
So if I go to a physical store, a restaurant, or like a Home Depot, I don't need to do anything.
You need to make sure your card's already been added in the app. So for me, I got my Wells Fargo and my Chase already loaded in, because those are the ones I'm using, and I don't have to worry about which one am I gonna, because I already have them both added in. You can add a few. So we try to make it.
Why wouldn't you have it in the app? But if you say you have like 3 different cards and you happen to use this one, but that one's not connected.
Yeah.
We can add more, as many, how many, Richard? We can add a few at least.
Four, two, like, we add 4 at the moment.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, actually, I do have more than 4 cards. But I'm surprised you haven't got the business card in there, Dan, with the amount you spend on eating out with that, mate.
Right?
No.
It's in public now.
Get you some new, these are our new business.
Wow.
Oh, how good's that?
Yeah. Those are our new business cards that we do. We've been, it's a new machinery that we got, enabling us to do the smaller runs with smaller size. So actually, I want people to understand how it works and how easy it is and why they should do it. Once I buy something, if I don't even touch my phone, it's on my card. Now, the next time I go to my app, that's logged in there, right? I have $1.40 that is going to be paid forward, and I choose where that goes.
Well, you've already chosen.
It takes a day or two, but yes, definitely.
You've already chosen. The funny, it can take, so yeah, generally speaking, the notification will come in with it. If it's a card one, the notification will be a couple of seconds. But if the terminal is your bank and your card is your bank, it takes 5 days for some reason. Yeah. But if it's not, it's very instant. In online stuff can take 5 days as well, but that's just processing and all sorts of different bits and pieces, mate.
You were saying that you've already chosen it, so you can't switch.
You can switch. You can switch at any time. So in my Australian one, I've got about 15. One of the boys has got like 50. One of the sales guys has got like 50, and he scrolls like that all the way through, seeing which one he's going to pick. But you can chop and change, mate. So the idea is when baseball season's in and you're trying to raise money for baseball, you're supporting that, and then in the off season you might want to support kids' cancer. You might change playing baseball to football, then you can change to there, but it keeps your legacy with the previous groups that you've raised money for as well. So you can see you can keep tracking your impact as time goes on, mate.
But
it's cool.
Again, it's whoever's picked at the moment that you swipe gets it. So it's not like And if you wanted it that specifically to go, you'd have to go into the app and change it, and then
swipe again. Yeah, it's about a 4-second process. But funny thing is, mate, I've done transactions and then done demos and changed my group while I'm doing a demo, and I get a notification, like it might have been a hotel booking one, and then it pops up, and I'm doing a demo, and it goes to the wrong group that I was trying to support, and then that group, after I've told them I did it for them, they ring me up and give me a bit of a hard time because I changed groups while I was doing the demo.
We've all changed groups by accident or clicked the wrong card, and now all of a sudden Ticket Time Machine is treating instead of my personal card, or vice versa. Now I got to try and figure out, oh man, this is such a mess. But it's all going to a good place regardless whether you meant it.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the good news about it. So the challenge is because there's people shopping at places all the time, thousands and thousands of people. So the challenge is get a partner, a shop, but get the people to know that they're a part of this. So how does that work the best? Or how are you attacking that part? Because if people don't know that they're a part of it, then some people might sign up, say, oh, they know about it. I'm not signed up, but hey, I shop at this place a lot. Let me sign up for this.
Mate, it works best on depending on the size of the group. So for a small sporting club that's got a couple of hundred members, it just takes the president to go and tell the 200 people to sign up to it, and then the local businesses are on. It's a really, really simple process. It takes about 10 hours for them to create an income that stays there forever. With your larger charities and your larger foundations, it's more about EDMs and social media and communicating with them quite regularly to make sure that it's gradually going up and up and up and up. And in some cases, we've got the small business owner that's actually going out and speaking to the sporting groups that are like the local sporting clubs and charities and schools and things like that to get them on. So on the flip side, some of the business owners are like, hey, this is a great customer acquisition tool for me. I'm going to go and talk to these dudes and get them shopping here and give them this much money. When you see that, you see a really good culture because it's run by the business person. Like they're obviously there to get paid, and that's pretty cool.
So if I'm signed up for this, there's no way for me to know all the places that are. There's a way for me to know it because you probably have. I go and find out all the stores I could shop at. But in general, I'm probably, and maybe not today, but a month, 6 months, a year from now, I'm going to be shopping at a place that I had no idea they were even involved in it. And I'm going to be saving money.
Well, you'd be raising money,
raising money, not saving.
Yeah. And the cool thing is, man, you might pop over to LA to have a beer with me and Dan when I move over, and go and you might find that restaurant's there. So you might be registered. You might have not done anything for 2 months, and we'll make you buy dinner. So you're buying dinner for us, and next thing you know, you got a notification. You've raised money for a charity back in where are you again? You're in Miami, are you?
North of Miami. I'm in South Florida.
And
Matt, who would be your first choice? Who would be your default who will be once you download the iSponsor app? Is it same here? I know your buddy
charity,
their whole team. Is somebody who's most competitive in your network?
From a charity,
a
charity perspective.
Yeah.
It would probably be same here. My brother started a same here endurance team, which I have I'm going to do. This is what I always do. And live, when we go live, just going to give my brother, since you mentioned it, you put me on the spot here.
Yeah.
We go and give a shout out to my brother who started the same here endurance team. So he's a Ironman, and so he's not we got to get it to be a charitable. It's part of same here. So probably I would say same here. There's a lot of great, as you know, even just going at Mark's, every kid's sports, there's so many good charities out there. And we have a good friend who's dealing with metastatic breast cancer and raised like $300,000. I'd love to put you in touch with them about, so people can help shop. There's so many good, there's so many good charities out there. And anytime I have a charity on the Wolff Den, the big question to them is like, how do you get people like how do you get people's attention? How do you get people's attention? How do you get people's money? Because there's so much competing. I think everyone has more than one charity that they probably has affected, their life or one of their loved one, or it's a cause that they feel deeply about, whether it's mental health or global warming or sustainability, social justice, all types of cancers, inequality and income and diversity, people who can't afford to participate in sports. My friend, what does it say? Corey has he's my concert buddy, and it's what the heck? Corey, what's your what's the charity's name? It's Corey's Crew. That's it. Cool. And they fund money for concerts for kids with special needs, and they bring people to concerts, and it's great.
How good is that? That's cool. That's a cool one, mate.
Yeah,
hey.
Corey's my concert buddy. Corey, I'm not going to be there Friday for Stevie Nicks. I'm in Jacksonville for the game, but I will be there for Luke Bryan next week. So I'll see him at Luke Bryan. Always come and say hi to him. But it's there's so I don't remember. You asked me.
Though that's the tough part. And if you look at the charity nonprofit organization like a business, it's it really, they do have repeat customers. You can look at it that way. The donors, the people that spend their weekend volunteering at the charities, in some cases, they have more, obsessed customers than, most other businesses. And in some cases that have sold a product once to a customer. All that to say, the right people on the board, leaders locally in that charity or nationally, they do have a big opportunity to say there's one other way to help us. Write us a check, that's important. But if you want to steer some of your spending or shopping or gifting onto iSponsor, it's going to help us even more. So just trying to make it a bit easier even for the charities to keep more people, feeling like they're a repeat customer and feeling like they're chipping in. It's hard to write $100, $1,000 check at all, let alone regularly or more than once to a charity. And this is a way that it can add up throughout the year.
I guess the other question is, how do you get the visibility for people to understand that this is a thing and they should sign up? That's a tougher thing too. What's your strategy been so far? And then, what's call it 2023? What's the strategy going to be?
It definitely has been. It definitely is tough to get the visibility. I guess the thing is, we want we're not a marketing agency for the charity, but we want the charities to tell their members, guys, this is a bit of software. Don't think of us as a brand. Don't think of us as an app. Think of us as a bit of software that raises money. You've just got to use this software. So as much as the charity uses Microsoft, we want the charity to use iSponsor. We want them to tell everyone in their database, guys, use this, we'll get paid, it costs you nothing. So we want those guys to build the visibility for us, and we just build all the assets and the content for them, so that all they have to do is push a button and it goes out to their members and their supporters and whatnot, mate. So that's the idea. We take so much, what you see in the app on top of that is a very, very small percentage of what we take. So it's not like we're making what the charities are making and we've got to run the team. So we've built the business, so we take very little and give it very much away, but we want them to do a little bit of work. And what they understand, mate, is when the work's done, Matty, once they've done the work, that's consistent. That's it. Every month, it's about the same every month. And the more work they do, the more higher it gets.
So many people don't want to do the work to help themselves. And I don't know. I'm like, look, I can, even as a show like this, I can bring you, I have, a good network, but you got to do the work. You got to share, your story, and you got to promote it. And even with a ticket too, if someone said, I was saying this on the one, like, oh, we tried this with this famous singer. It didn't work. Well, it wasn't because of the singer, and it wasn't because of the product. It was how you did it. So I think a lot of people have to figure, like, let's do the work. We need to do the work, right? I can't sell it for you. but you've given them an easy way to get the name out there to help and share it with people. And so I think a lot of people don't, and then they wonder why something didn't work. Like, why didn't we generate so much in donations here?
Yeah, I guess the thing is it's free money as well. So once it's set up, it's just free. But and people are tired too, mate. I think the last couple of years, everyone's been sort of beaten up a little bit, and we sort of want to create a bit of positivity as well. Like, we'd like people to be like happy about buying a pair of shoes, like happy, that it's using I suppose using the technology to bring people together instead of keeping them. I don't know, mate. I think there's a little bit more to it than just shopping and raising money. I think there's a bit of gamification and leaderboards, and I think if it turns into a bit of a culture, that it might bring people closer to the charity, and it might increase a bit of brand recognition. It also might help the brands go, holy dooly. I nearly swore then. Holy dooly. This brand's given us this much money through shopping. Let's promote them even more. And the brand might go, holy dooly, these guys have spent this much money through our brand. Let's go and do something for them. Let's go and give shoes to all the kids that are going to the concerts, or let's give them an outfit to go to the concert, things like that, So hopefully it creates a bit more of a camaraderie ship than just a shopping app that gives a bit of money away.
Yeah, I think there'll be plenty of ways for you to incentivize people to share and build, a bigger network. Is holy duty? That's a swear in where you're at?
I don't know. I nearly said holy shit, but holy dooly, I said instead, mate, just for clarity.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. People say shit on here. They've said worse. It's not. I don't know who we're governed by. So until we get someone knocking on my door.
So the Howard Stern philosophy.
Yeah,
huh?
well, sort of. I mean, I don't like cursing for the sake of cursing. There are people who just drop them. I like a good, well-placed F-bomb, but just to say it, because to say and you say it too much, it's got to.
Hey, Richard, do you say it enough or too much?
Why?
Go into it, Daniel. Hey.
I don't use it a lot. My dad is not with us anymore. He would say a lot. He would just drop it. It's just weird, depending on what you're talking about. I just found it. You would notice that, and everything. And then you got people who say everything's F this and F that. I don't mind it. I just think, again, it should be within the conversation.
My daughters. I've got two little girls, mate. They barely hear me swear. And if my girlfriend's watching this, she's going to say I'm a liar. But I've got two little girls that barely hear me swear. So if they hear me swear, it's either because I'm on the phone for a work call, or I'm really, really angry, and I've got to do a push up every single time, mate. And I'm not real fit, Matt. So it's So
unless you're dropping them all the time, you can do a couple of push-ups. Even I can't do many push-ups, but I can afford to swear a couple times a day.
Yeah. It's good for emphasis, I
agree. I agree with that. What did either of you guys watch Ted Lasso? Because we're watching the second.
I love it.
So we're not. I think we're just about done with season 2. But the last episode we watched was when Roy Kent's niece got in trouble for swearing and had to tell. It was just funny. It's like, where, I can swear, but you can. Like, obviously, where do you think he got it from? And then the teacher swore. It was, I don't know. If you're a Ted Lasso fan, you'll know. If not, go watch Ted Lasso, and you'll know.
Mate, season 2's. I didn't even know if season 2's in Australia. We've only got season 1. I need to look into that, mate.
You should have 2, because I think there's a third one coming, right? I don't know.
Mate, you might have just changed my life.
I think you should. I think you should have 2. The charity. We talk about charity, and obviously you guys take a little piece of that. Are you guys considered a 501c3? Do you have any benefits of that because of the dynamics of what you guys do?
No, we're a social enterprise, mate. So effectively, what you're doing is we're charging, let's say it's 10% in total. We're charging 10% in marketing fees, and then giving the majority away. So a social enterprise is someone that gives 65% of their profit away. We give 65, we give way more in that regard. So a social enterprise, but there's no tax breaks for us, mate. We're still a business. We still got the same rules.
So why a distinction for a social enterprise?
I didn't even know there was a distinction. I just threw it around early, and then I read an article that said that this is what you got to be to call yourself a social enterprise, and we fit the bill. But a social enterprise is anyone that's like a profit for purpose, or trying to do good in the world and whatnot.
What do you call a company that has no
our
profit?
footprint and making
It has
sure.
no what, mate?
Sorry.
I was gonna say, what do you call a company that has no profit?
iSponsor.
Trying to figure out what to call it, what we are at Ticket Now. We have some profit revenues, but we're growing, same as you. It's tough. I mean, it's really tough. You guys aren't at it that long, and obviously made some great strides. And what I'm trying to explain to some people is sometimes the strides that you make and the success that you have can't always be defined by dollars and cents.
Yeah, and the dollars can be a byproduct, mate. Once you've got to a certain point, because we're young in the industry that we're in, we're still grinding. It's grind. I think every company comes to a tipping point, whether it's your Facebooks, your Googles, or it's your small butcher shop in a local community. Every business comes to a tipping point where they've been grinding so hard and they open their eyes one day and suddenly they've got a business that's profitable. I think, but we're definitely still in the grinding phase. Every single one of our employees knows it too.
and the thing for you is not only do you have to be profitable, but that your charities have to, you have to be helping out charities. But conversely, you could really be helping out charities well, and you are not making as much money, right? Because you're only so it's sort of like there's a lot of different ways to measure how well you guys are doing. Now, obviously,
it's a good way to point out, the way we're a social enterprise and where our values and targets are not just financial based. And like you said, there's a little bit of that for the charity layer. Also, the fact that they have this opportunity to get more people, feeling like they're chipping in. Some of the bigger charities in our country, that every $5 additional, $50, when they have endowments and trusts that are making themselves a lot of money, all that to say, they see the huge value in the incremental number of people that feel like they're on that charity's team, even if it was just a few bucks. We know that a lot of our clients are valuing that in addition to the actual dollar amount that's going to come. The other little bit about that is relationships with brands or corporations that do CSR like we've described. So those are some of the added benefits in addition to what dollar amount ends up with the charity. So win-win-win in a lot of different ways with iSponsor.
Yeah. I want to talk Kanye West in the news recently, and so that he has brands that he's associated with. I think that's got to be something that you guys have to be conscious about. Who do you align with, whether it's an individual, a brand, a charity? There's charities out there that have turned out to not. I know Brett Favre is in the. I mean, there's just it's hard. Like you do your due diligence, but at the end of the day, you might not know. So the two parts of this that I want to hear more about your strategy is how do you vet, and make sure who you're dealing with is good. You don't want to just deal with anyone. And then what would happen if a Kanye West happens?
Mate, we there's a lot of brands on there. We would find it incredibly hard to vet every single brand 100%. There's charities out there that refuse to have anything to do with Nike, mate. And yet, if we were to put Nike on, if we were to take Nike off, then we would be taking money away from sporting clubs that love Nike. So, there's a really fine line for us to tread here. We can take any brand away from any group, and we can just, there's charities in Australia that we've gone through the list and taken 300 brands away from them because they didn't like the ethos of those brands. But we personally didn't see anything wrong with them because a lot of them sold alcohol.
I get that. I think that's a great feature too. Like in this world, I guess Chick-fil-A would be maybe someone people don't want to be associated with them. It's very tough. You're talking about a very slippery slope. If I figure out I don't want to do this. Now I got to figure out everyone that I talk to. So I'm probably a hypocrite. I eat Chick-fil-A. I don't believe and I don't support some of the ideals that they have. And so I think that's very good to note that you guys can take away a brand or from a charity in that respect. But I'm talking about someone who's found to be bad to anyone.
Like, mate, if the KKK set up an account, we're not gonna, we're gonna pull them off. We're not gonna be a part of that. Or if Al Qaeda set one up, we're not gonna let them. If Al Qaeda just happen to have a 50C31, is that what it is? 50C3. Sorry, if they just
C3.
Yeah. So if they just happen to have their own charity, we would definitely find that out. The process is they've got to fill out a form, and we look at them and to make sure that they're viewed like, but we are a SaaS product, and there'll be charities on there that people don't like, mate, completely. But at the same time, they're going to have their own following of people that believe in that so much. As long as they're not hurting people or taking away from the people in need, well, I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm sort of getting at. Like, not who will you take on? You've already taken them on. Now you found out, again, I use Kanye West, but you guys are helping
guidelines that make sure that we can hold ourselves accountable, and that our whole team, many members of the team, not just one person, has to act like a chief integrity officer. It's a team effort as well. But to your point, there's going to be situations where there's a prominent brand, an issue related influencer or person, and we are kind of in between a brand and charities. So we need to look out for the interests of this marketplace. We're already doing that on the front end, and we're going to be ready to jump into action when those things happen. Hopefully brands step up like Adidas and the others that have in this case, and have been accountable to their own missions.
But it's different. I bring that up because you guys are you're not a charitable organization, but you are a charitable organization, because that's that's the model, and that's the core of what you guys do. So it's different than, say, an Adidas, who has stuff that they believe in, but at the end of the day, they're not a charitable organization. The stuff that they're doing isn't going, it's just part of it. So it's a little bit more direct for you to just try and, make sure that who you guys are working with. And again, a lot of it not out of your control.
Can I ask what happened? Why don't people like Chick-fil-A?
So Chick-fil-A is closed on Sundays. They're very religious, and they support just being religious and Christian, a lot of money towards Christian organizations. So like anti-abortion and there's just a lot of like the Christian stuff. So they're just, some people don't like.
For a second episode, you're walking it very gingerly. Well done, Matt.
I love Chick-fil-A. I think their chicken's great. And so
there's some violent things the family members or relatives associated with that ownership group over the years, really rough stuff. And we're not the fact checkers, but the information's kind of out there, and it's a good example for sure.
It's a very divisive issue in the U.S.
But you're right, because certain charities are affiliated in some ways, loosely, indirectly, and other charities want to be separated in a way. And so that's a good example of one that we're in conversation about. We don't need to go through them on the pod, but no, we're thinking about it every week, if not day.
Yeah, I say, like, my friend Scott Friedman, who's on Twitter. I don't know if you met Scott, maybe through Mark. He was saying, like, would you get involved with the Live Tour? Very good question. Like, I'd have to find out more information about it. At the end of the day, what are they doing? Yes, they have, there's Saudi money and it's blood money, but there's other companies. So if I start to go drill down to everyone who's doing any business with the Saudis, including the United States of America, and I don't know a lot about this, so I'm really just talking, surface level stuff that I read, but it's something to think about. So I need to find out more about it, but it's funny. I'm a huge Seinfeld fan, and Elaine was like a big against the animals, and she didn't like someone because then she was protesting, and Jerry's like, well, why don't you ask this guy you're dating what he thinks about this? And she tells him, and then it's over. So it's like a whole, like, do I need to go down that road and find out what everyone thinks about certain things if I'm going to be, protesting? Or
you can please some of the people all the time, but you can't please all the people all the time.
No, that's true too. You also have to stand true to your beliefs and your morals, which I believe that I do. But I think we're all, again, it's no matter what we do, there's going to be some aspects of our actions and thoughts that are going to be somewhat hypocritical. Like, I don't believe in this for myself, but I think others, it's okay. Or I don't believe this, but if I was put in this situation, I probably would. Right? I mean, things that you don't have to worry about. It's easy to say, but
Mate, I'm not. I'm not religious by any stretch of the imagination.
Me neither.
And yet, when I see religion, I think, man, if believing in something up top makes you be a better person or makes you do the right thing, then like kudos for you to have that to believe in. And I think as long as you're not a radicalist in your religion, regardless of what the religion is, but so it helps some people, and it also does bad things for other people.
No,
but
I agree. I'm Jewish, so I don't like I'm mad at Chick-fil-A because they're closed on Sundays, which doesn't, I don't like open on Sundays. I want
That's a good little transition too, because you went from Kanye, but there's a Kanye song called "Closed on Sundays" about Chick-fil-A. So that was smooth, poetic, Matt. You're a killer MC.
Yeah, we're just going from one.
So give me the rundown on Kanye. I don't watch TV. I don't get any time.
So Kanye is a long story
as well. There's too much.
The easy thing is he said some ridiculously derogatory and anti-Semitic comments against the Jews. Then he doubled down. Then he tripled down. Then he told Adidas they weren't going to do anything about it. And long story short, they did something about it. And so
wow. So do you have what's these shoes called? I
wouldn't wear them if someone gave them to me for free, but I'm not the but the thing is, there's millions and millions of people who follow him, who don't care. They follow him the same way people follow, these cults, and we don't need to get into the cults that are out there these days, but they follow him. Like, even just think about a fanatical sports fan. It's almost like, I don't care what you say, this is my team. They could do no wrong. Mm-hmm. And so it almost doesn't matter what Adidas does, because he's got 2 million followers, 200 million followers, something crazy like that. And so, it's dangerous to spread that kind of word. There's people who do stuff, like we go back to like a Lance Armstrong. What would people have done if they're pumping money into his? He lied about it, but he was doing a lot of great for charity. So, there's not all fraudsters or negative stuff is created equally.
Yeah, I drink too much, mate, and I raise heaps of money for charities.
No, that's not. Norm Macdonald's got a great bit on alcoholics. I'm not calling you an alcoholic, but alcoholics. It's called the best disease, and it's ironic hearing him talk about that after he obviously died from a disease that nobody knew about. But one of my favorite comics. I don't think that's not too much is all relative anyway. I would say, and I don't know that that's a sin. Again, I'm not religious, but I don't consider that a sin. I'll be drinking a lot this weekend. I'm going to Jacksonville to watch and tailgate for my Gators as they play Georgia. The event is called the World's Largest Outdoor Cocktail Party. That's the name of the event. Well, they don't want you to call it that, but we call it that.
Mate, I cannot get over the incredible patriotism towards sport in your country. Hey, it just blew my mind. Like the sheer volume of supporters and everything. My eyes were completely open. We're good athletes. Australia is good athletes. Like per capita. Like, I think we're one of the best in the world. I think we might actually be number one per capita, which you guys probably don't want to hear and probably don't like me saying that. But
we're going to edit that part out. We don't edit anything here. We don't have the budget.
But the patriotism towards your sport and you said fanatical.
How about
sport.
music, sport, music, TV and movie stars? I mean, it's all. I think we're fanatical about all of that stuff.
Crazy. Like it was such a good experience, mate. Like Dan only took me to one game, but Dodgers game was crazy. Like it was incredible experience, mate. I don't even know if that was a busy game, Dan, was it?
It was packed. It was it was a weeknight. I think it was the first week of the season, one of the first home games. So maybe a little extra excitement, but it was chillier for that reason. Matt, who's your college team?
The Gators.
Oh, obviously you're okay. So you're going
that's why we're orange too.
How far is Jacksonville from where you are?
It's going to be about a 4-hour drive.
You're going to drive 4 hours to watch and that's a college football game, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to stay a couple nights, but yeah. But I'd drive 4 hours and then come back. Yeah.
Yeah, no one would drive 30 minutes to watch a university game of sport.
They don't do that down here. So down here, some of them people, I guess it depends on the team. There's a guy, Ben Chase, who's driving across the whole country to do 60 college football games this season.
Wow.
And so if you do the math, there's about 10 weeks or 12, 13 weeks. So he's getting to a bunch of games a weekend per day, driving across the country. It's pretty wild.
Is it a fundraising thing, mate, or?
I think it's a story, a content. That's a good question. He's going to be on the Wolff Den at some point, and I'll ask him that. But yeah, it's just, I don't know what it is. I went to school at University of Florida, so I use the word we. Like I'm a Gator. For me, and then you have the teams where you grew up, and then just people that you've liked your whole life. It's like your area, so there's a pride. The same way, in football, the other football, European football, they have pride about the country or then their team. I mean, there's a lot of fanatical people. You'll see this in the World Cup. But didn't people wasn't there a lot of violence what was the thing that just happened with the violence and at a soccer match? That wasn't that long ago in the States.
That was heaps of people died in the but I think that was was that in an Asian country?
I don't know what. And then there were stories about back in the day where the people were killing their own players if they didn't perform well. So I don't know. It's there's definitely a line that you need to draw. I'm probably closer to the bad part of that line than I am to normal. Hey, this is normal behavior, but nothing violent or anything. Just the amount of time and energy and money you spend on something. And my friend laughs about it. He's like, Gators lost the game. And he's like, well, don't let it ruin your day. And our season, it was over. He's like, don't let it ruin my day. He's like, this is gonna ruin my week, my month, maybe even my year. Don't let it ruin my day. It was but as you get older.
The first time Richard was here, it was the Dodgers. He saw the historic, crazy LA mafia thing. And then the next trip he was here, we went to Angel City FC. And pretty cool to see, not just because we were, on the pitch, great seats, whatever, but because first season, packing a house, we both have daughters, Richard and I, just cool to see grandmothers and granddaughters and some crazy, guys cheersing at the bar all together. So good to see that, fandom.
That's all. Those are moments. Those are memories. That's what we're all about.
That was crazy to see the women's soccer team and the crowd that they got, the season ticket holders that they've got, and the cheering in the crowd. It was that was an incredible experience.
San Diego just broke a record for the most attendance on the women's side for soccer. Did you get to SoFi yet?
Oh, not when there was any people in it, but Dan dragged me in there when it was empty for a tour, and it was
it's the nicest stadium I've ever been in, and I'd be hard pressed to find one that's going to be nicer. It's really an incredible. It's incredible. I don't know what else to say about it,
mate. Even empty, even completely empty, the TV's off. It was something else. It was an experience.
I love the Jumbotron that they have there because it's big, but it's the way they use it is just I've been to Dallas, Jerry's World, and it's just obnoxious. It's too big. It's not for me. I also hate the Cowboys, so maybe that doesn't help if you don't like the team. But it's still there. Even unbiased, it's not the same. And I think what LA did was good. I also got a chance to go to the Raiders stadium, which is nice, but it's okay. It's nice. It's new. Anything that's new is nice. Not anywhere. Not even the same conversation as.
But you can be in the pool and then walk upstairs, and then 20 minutes later you're at the 50-yard line.
Yeah,
that's
you go in the pool. You go in the pool in Tampa Bay in
fair. Good point. Okay.
Race game.
Right.
I'm not going in a pool if I'm going to a game, but there is a market for it. That's for sure.
You got a pool in the stadium.
Yeah, there's a couple pools around here in the stadium.
In Vegas, it's like just down the strip, so you can do your hotel pool scene and then wash up and be like at the game for kickoff very quickly. And it's same with the hockey stadium. It's on the strip right there.
That's right there. You can walk there pretty easily.
What sort of, Matt, tell me what sort of temperatures you get over where you are, mate, in winter. Dan told me that California doesn't get cold, and the first day that I was there, I had to buy a jumper.
Well, you won't know. I go in Fahrenheit. It's 80. Yeah, you have to calculate it. We'll get down to the 40s, but maybe for like a week. There'll be like a week, maybe 2 weeks out of the year that gets down to like cold, where it's cold. The rest of it, you're looking at even 50, 60. But yeah, right now it's still in the 70s and sunny, and it's where I enjoy a little bit of the cold. My wife gets cold everywhere, but no, I think I've been in LA when it was cold. I've been in California when it's cold. I go to Arizona a few times. Or LA or Las Vegas, it gets cold, really cold.
This guy's from Buffalo, where it snows in summer at times, mate. So
I grew up in New Jersey. So
is that cold as well? Is it?
Well, not like Buffalo, but it's cold. Yeah, it's yeah. But you get to Buffalo and like Boston in April, it could snow.
The coldest we get where I live is like maybe 40. I think it's 40 degrees. So our winter is nowhere near as cold as LA's winter. And Dan's like, oh, you might need a hoodie, but I freeze here in ours, mate. We drive 200 kilometers north, and you'll never, ever, ever wear a jumper ever in winter. It's
It's on my list to get to. My brother got to Australia and New Zealand on his honeymoon. We have a pen pal. My wife has a pen pal who lives in Australia who flew over for our wedding a couple of years ago. So it's definitely on my list.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Where's the pen pal live?
Oh, I don't know. I'm gonna say one of the only like 5 places I know, but I'll let you. I'll have to get back to you on that. But the last question I have about iSponsor is, how different is it trying to talk to Australia and trying to talk to US and trying to talk to UK? Or do you find, obviously there's going to be differences, but is the overlap big and the differences are small?
For me personally, because I'm a really Australian guy, my first trip to the US, I felt like I was speaking a different language, and I would see South American people talk to Anglo-Saxon people, and they understood each other, and then I would speak, and neither of them would understand me, and I dead set. I don't know if you guys say dead set, but I honestly felt like I was speaking a different language. So I had to really, really listen and really slow my talking down. But in the UK, I think because the settlers came to Australia I don't understand what happened, but everyone understood me in the UK. Like I felt like people understood me more.
You sound closer to that. But I got friends in the UK who live in Liverpool, and I can understand you better than I can understand them. And they use a lot different language. But you're also more Americanized because you're traveling here more and you're doing business here. So that's you got to adapt anyway. Regardless of where you go, you'll adapt. You'll never lose your Australian, but you'll adapt.
So I was pretty lucky that Dan's actually spent some time over here for school years and years ago. So Dan, we'll literally be in a conversation, and I will say something that I didn't even know was not said over there, and Dan will translate. But every now and then, Dan looks like a puppy and goes and tilts his
Yeah,
head.
it's weird. Yeah.
What does that one mean?
Yeah, like you got like the difference between calling someone like even in the UK when we say I always do pop culture reference. Family Guy did a funny thing when they had a UK pub and talking about fags, right? A fag is a cigarette.
Yeah.
But here,
F word.
it doesn't mean it. And if you call someone like a prick over there, it's like calling them the C word here. You know, we don't use that, but they use the C word over there all the time. And and then the last thing I'll tell you is John Mulaney has a really funny bit on the N word. If you just Google John Mulaney N word, it's a very funny bit.
The one that got me a couple of times is lawyer and solicitor. So solicitor, like in Australia, will mean lawyer.
Yeah,
and
you don't want to say solicitor.
Well,
here.
the other thing is, mate, Daniel's wife's a lawyer, so I think the first time. Yeah, well, the first time I've used the word solicitor is referring to a guy I've just met's wife, and it made me feel very uncomfortable when.
Well, it's solicitor. It could be like, what are you what are you soliciting? Either way, it's not good. But one way is the other. Like you guys are soliciting in a way, but not
one of our first meetings together that Richard and I were sitting next to each other in person, not on Zoom. He, in one sentence, said, "I met a solicitor on the plane while wearing my thongs," as a normal American English thing to say. And whoever we were meeting with, they knew what was going on, but it could have been the wrong person. Very confused.
Yeah. But even if you're soliciting and you are a solicitor, you don't, in your thing, you don't want to say it because that's like the way in here the people use the word partner instead of sponsorship, right? So they use the word partnership. There's a clear difference. I wrote an article about it on LinkedIn. I encourage everyone to read it, but it's like a dirty word. So soliciting is like a dirty word, even though you're sort of you're soliciting donations, right? That's fair to say?
While we're raising money through shopping.
Correct. Well, that's what you guys are doing in another country. So we're going to let you out of the Wolff Den with the same question everybody gets at the end. You can spend a day with anyone in the world, 24 hours. They have to be alive and you can't be related to them or, know them. And who would you choose and what would you guys do?
Daniel, you go
first, Richard?
You go first, mate. So they got to be alive, did you say, Matt?
Have to be alive, yeah.
And you can't be related to them?
Can't be related. So the thing is that easy thing is someone's going to say they're dead. Obviously, we can't make it happen. I'd love to make some of this happen if I get enough money and influence or whoever. But also then the other time, someone's like, well, my wife. And I'm like, look, you're related to them. You could spend any time you want with them. So that's why we got these two rules.
I'm going to say Anthony Kiedis because
Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Because I've said to all my friends, I love hip hop. I'm saying rap, hip hop separate. I don't think there's been a good group since the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then I'm happy to have the argument one-on-one with everyone I know later. We don't have to get into it here. But for that reason, that's who I want to meet. And if I could, the whole band for 24 hours.
Yeah, the band.
At SoFi. But that's who and that's why, because no one compares in my musical world. That's how I'll put it.
By the way, Richard, just so you know, if you're not aware, what Dan just said is more offensive than anything we've said on this whole entire show in an hour. So he's just everything we said is just forgotten now, and it's just going to be. Dan said nobody's better than the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but it's a good choice. I
don't mind the Peppers. I don't mind the Peppers.
I like them. I like them too. They're touring right now and hitting a lot of.
Are they?
Or hopefully I said it right. Since so I love lots before that came before. Yeah. I don't know any that I like since. So, anyways, let's leave it there. Haters hate. Haters, bring it on.
They've been around a long time. Who you got for us, Richard?
Mate, I am absolutely stumped. I don't think there is. I'm such a loner, and I've actually read Anthony Kiedis' book, mate. But I'm such a loner. There's probably
presidents or ministers or royalty, the Pope.
Definitely not the Pope or royalty, mate. Definitely not them.
You said Tyson Fury before in conversations about something.
Oh no, that's just because I think it'd be good to market our brand in the UK, mate.
He's got a single coming out. I just read today. He's
saw that today, Sweet Caroline.
Yeah, Sweet Caroline. He's recording it, and should be interesting. I like it. It's for mental health.
Yeah. Maybe Mike Tyson, man. I think the dude really intrigues me. So maybe Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Grew up rough, rise and fall, and then back to rise. So maybe Tyson.
Mike Tyson. We did a Tyson Jones.
Oh, how good!
Yeah, Tyson would be an interesting person to troubled soul, right? Got into trouble, did some great things. Who knows what could have happened if things were good. One of the best athletes of our lifetime, and someone who was feared and unstoppable. I'd be a great person. I don't know if I got to go back. We're almost at 250, and I got to come up with a list of everyone. I don't know if he's been mentioned before, but we have had some boxing fans on and some kids of boxers. We had Sugar Ray Leonard's son on. So I got to go back and look to see if anyone picked Tyson, but it's a great choice. Both great choices.
And the dude's pulled himself out of a huge, he was in a massive hole, mate, and pulled it out with the right investments. And the funny thing is, I believe, and I don't know any facts about this at all, but you would imagine after losing everything, he's there by himself. In those decisions he's probably made by himself, not with the full team around him. He's at his worst when he was at his best, and at his best when he was at his worst, mate. And it's probably a characteristic. It's probably a characteristic I hold, which probably explains why I want to meet him. I don't know if I should have said that on this, but
no, that would be great. I really appreciate your time here. Looking forward to watch iSponsor grow, and then as soon as I can get in there, and let's get you hooked up with some great charities. And
mate, tell the content guy to follow us up on LinkedIn. I think that'd be a really interesting guy to talk to and what they're doing, and see if there's some other avenues down the future there, because I've never heard of a charity that gets kids to gigs, mate. I think that's wonderful. Hey. Yeah,
and Dan, have you talked to Eric? I know I've given you
from Same Here.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, multiple. Yeah, and Richard as well has been in the loop quite a bit. Okay. We're both fond of what they do, and we're going to be one of the channels that they're getting more people fired up and on their team, quote unquote. Yeah. We are all a little crazy.
Yeah, we're all a little crazy. That's actually on the side of this hat here.
Yeah,
we're all a little crazy.
I've actually joined the C-suite, mate, for Same Here. So there'll be a little bit about me, just a little bit, just a splash, mate. About
I got the same thing. My Same Here CEO on the my story is on the site, so we encourage everyone to check that out, and we'll get you hooked up with a bunch more charities to get this thing rolling. Check it out online, iSponsor.co in the US, Instagram and LinkedIn. You can find them at iSponsor app. Dan and Richard, great to chat with you. Look forward to seeing you guys in person wherever that is, at a conference or in LA or down here. We'll find a way to make it happen.
If it's too cold in LA when I come over, mate, it's going to be down there. But Matty, really good to see you, mate.
Have a great night, everyone. We're off until Halloween. We got a very special guest on Halloween. Stay tuned. We're going to have some promotions for it. And our 250th episode next week with some more special guests. Tune in. It's going to be a great week of the Wolff Den. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Have a great night. We'll talk to everyone soon.
Congrats on 250. That's big.
Yeah, that's huge, mate. Huge. Congratulations.